What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Minnesota Vikings Now. My name is Patrick Seatman, and coming up on today's show, we're going to be diving into some winners and some losers from the Vikings' first preseason game versus Seattle Seahawks. It was a ton of fun just finally having Vikings football back. You know, anytime you get to see this team rock the purple and gold, and just watch them play football, it's always a good time, even though they did end up losing 24-13 to the Seattle Seahawks in the preseason Week 1 matchup. Vikings got up 10-0 early. Seahawks ended up just kind of imposing their will a little bit, going on a 24-3 run. But some overall stats and takeaways from the game before we dive into winners and losers. Nick Mullins, I thought he looked really, really well in the first half. The Vikings ran Mullins in the first half, and then they ran Jaren Hall in the second half. And then Ty Chandler, he had 11 carries for 41 yards. He's one of my biggest winners, and we'll dive into him a little more here in a bit. But then also Jalen Reagor. I thought Jalen Reagor looked really strong as well. He had 4 catches for 55 yards. And then Drew Lock also. He looked great for the Seahawks. You know, he was very surgical with his drives. Went for 17 for 24, 191 yards on the day for him. And then also Seahawks quarterback who came in absolutely killed the Vikings as well. But guys, this is why you guys hit that subscribe button. Anytime the Vikings play defense, we're going to have a post-game show for you guys ASAP. So make sure you guys subscribe, lock us in as your go-to Minnesota Vikings YouTube channel. We got you guys. I want to be your one-stop shop for all that and more. But anyways, let's dive into some winners and losers from today's show. My number one winner, Ty Chandler, no doubt. Ty Chandler looked so explosive in this first half, and I think he's really got a case to rise up this Vikings depth chart. Like, if we're taking a look at it right now, the Vikings did come out with that first depth chart before the preseason game, and it did have Kene Nwangwu at running back too. But I honestly think it's got to be Ty Chandler. And I think Ty Chandler can honestly make a case for him being RB1. Like, I love Alexander Mattison. I love everything that he's about. Like, he has been this epitome of consistency for the Vikings, and anytime Dalvin Cook has gotten hurt over the past couple seasons, he has stepped in and he has done great. But I just think with what Ty Chandler did tonight, and not just the running game, but in the passing game as well. Like, every time he got the ball, I felt like he made somebody miss. And Ty Chandler's a guy that I've been pounding this table for, saying he needs to get more reps over and over again over the past, since he was drafted last season. So I think Ty Chandler, if I had to give one overall winner from a 24-13 loss against the Seattle Seahawks, it's Ty Chandler, no doubt. I think he looked absolutely fantastic tonight. That is my biggest winner from the game. But I want to ask you guys, who is your guys' biggest winner from the Vikings' first preseason game tonight? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section. I'm going to actually make this, screw it. We'll make this the pinned comment on today's video. Who was the biggest winner from the Vikings' first preseason game? I'm going Ty Chandler. Let me know your thoughts down below. A loser I had for this Vikings team, Oli Udoh. Anytime the Vikings tried to run to the outside tonight, it just did not go well. Oli Udoh had a really tough time setting the edge for the Vikings, and he just struggled overall. And that's going to happen. Oli Udoh, by no means is he a starting tackle in the NFL. He is the definition of a rotational tackle, just a swing tackle. But obviously, he filled in for Brian O'Neill last year when he got hurt, and he just didn't really look too good tonight. Anytime the Vikings tried to run to his right side on pitch plays to the right, I just felt like they just consistently got blown up. And like I said, he did a very solid job filling in for Brian O'Neill last season. He graded out according to PFF very, very well. But I just think with what he brings to the Vikings, he's just a rotational guy. So I'm not really too worried about it. But again, I just expected a little more from Brian O'Neill. But again, not Brian O'Neill, Oli Udoh. But again, he didn't really bring it tonight. Had a really tough time, setting the edge for the Minnesota Vikings. And another winner on my list, Jalen Reagor. How about him? He had a big first half, having 4 catches for 55 yards in the first half. Had a couple of intermediate throws over the middle of the field on play action where he caught the ball. Really solid hands from him today. And something that I noticed, or something that I loved the most, and shout out to Harrison Graham for pointing this out as well. Big time hit on Jalen Reagor. He was kind of running an in route, came in over, caught the ball, got absolutely nailed. He held on to the ball. They called it an incompletion. I thought that was just a bad call in general. But Jalen Reagor looked good tonight. Obviously, if you're thinking about this Vikings wide receiver room, like you got 18 right here, number one, no doubt. Then you obviously got KJ Osborne, Jordan Addison. But that battle for wide receiver 4, I think it's going to come down to the Jalens. I think it's going to come down to Jalen Reagor and Jalen Nailor. See who's going to battle that out. Maybe Reagor's got the edge on him right now. I know Nailor has looked very good at Vikings training camp as well, and I thought it was interesting how the Vikings didn't play him tonight. Maybe they're kind of, letting us in a little bit behind the scenes there on, how they view Nailor compared to Reagor. But, hey, he played good tonight. He's got to earn his stripes if he wants to crack this rotation, and, he did just that. So shout out to Jalen Reagor. He looked absolutely fantastic tonight, and, he made a name for himself for this Vikings team. It was, Jake Chipper, he works here at Chat Sports. He's an Eagles fan. He kind of joked around with me. He said, was that the best half of Jalen Reagor's career? Probably. 4 catches, 55 yards for Reagor tonight. He is my second winner on my list. Loser, I hate doing this because I'm a big fan of Andrew Booth. He just didn't look good tonight. Straight up, he just didn't look good. He got beat for a touchdown today where guy was kind of running a wheel route and he just literally turned his head and he just didn't look good. And we obviously saw other corners like Mekhi Blackman. I thought looked pretty solid tonight. He did get beat for a touchdown, but he was step for step with the guy. They tested him deep one time, Blackman, and he had a sweet pass breakup. But overall, Andrew Booth just didn't really look too good tonight. Like, I don't think Booth is living up to that second-round draft type, the dude out of Clemson. And, especially if you're looking at this Vikings cornerback room. I'll throw it on screen here in a second. But, if you're taking a look at this room, like, Booth was listed as cornerback 2 heading into this first preseason game. Honestly, I'd put Mekhi Blackman, Joejuan Williams, and Caleb Evans all over him at this point. Like, I really would. Like, I think Booth, he's just going to need to get more reps in the NFL. Obviously, he dealt with injuries all last season. So, Booth just, he just didn't bring his best tonight. He got beat on a couple of throws, and it sucks because I would obviously love to have Booth, be a solid fundamental piece for this Vikings, defense. Like, we're going to need to have him, step up. The Vikings want to get if they want to go where they want to go this offseason or this season. So obviously having Booth struggle, that's a bad sign because looking at Kwesi's draft class last season, if Booth doesn't work out and a guy like Caleb Evans doesn't work out either, could be looking at that draft class as one of the worst in Vikings history last year. So Booth didn't look good. That's why I got him as my second loser from tonight. And my third winner is actually the other corner, Joejuan Williams. Joejuan Williams, we heard the reports coming out of camp that he looked great. He had 2 interceptions against Kirk Cousins in one practice. And, he looked really good. He looked really good tonight. He had a sweet pass breakup. He was coming over the middle of the field, wide receiver in the middle corner of the end zone. He had a sweet pass breakup. He's 6'2", super, super athletic player. So, overall, I'm a fan of Joejuan. It's going to be interesting to see, man. That cornerback position, that's something we're going to have to monitor throughout the rest of these practices and throughout the rest of the preseason games, leading up to week 1, see who Brian Flores, decides to go with as their cornerback 1 on that group. But those are my 3 winners tonight, and those are my 2 losers. You guys can disagree with me in the comments section. I got Ty Chandler, Oli Udoh, Jalen Reagor, Andrew Booth Jr., and Joejuan Williams, players we highlighted tonight. Ty Chandler, though, overall biggest winner for me. He looked super explosive in the first half. He really shined for this Vikings team. So shout out to him. It made me feel really well. And then always, guys, you guys got to stay in the loop on all Vikings news, rumors all season long. Hit that subscribe button. Lock us in as your go-to Minnesota Vikings YouTube channel. And I just appreciate for everybody sticking it out with us on today's videos. That was winners and losers from the first Vikings preseason game versus Seattle Seahawks, where they ended up losing 24-13. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys next time. Skol Vikes.